Well, I am now fully convinced that Dave Gettleman has no idea what he's doing as a general manager. I am pretty furious about the Landon Collins not being franchised thing. I mean, not only did they not franchise him, but they didn't even trade him at the trade deadline when they were like 1-5 to receive a third round pick or even a second round pick for him. They're going to let a 25-year-old, very talented safety who's going to get paid very well and pursued by many teams walk out the door with nothing in return. Does that say incompetence to you? Because it does to me for sure. So when I made a video on last Thursday, it seemed like, Dave Gettleman wasn't completely sold about bringing Landon Collins back. I said, okay, he's probably just bluffing or something. He's definitely going to bring him back, right? We're not stupid enough to let this guy just walk away for nothing. That's what I thought, at least. But of course, I underestimated Dave Gettleman and his stupidity. They let the guy walk. I do not understand this whatsoever. I figured for sure they'd bring him back. Why not? For 1 year, $11.2 million, $12 million, whatever it was, for 1 year. This defense was atrocious last year. Everyone in the comment section complains about it every week. Yeah, after every reaction video I did, defense sucks, defense sucks. I get it, I agree. Now you're losing arguably your best defender. Who are we going to replace him with? That's the biggest question. If they don't find a replacement for Landon Collins, which I don't know if they will, I don't even know if they can. I mean, they have Earl Thomas on the free agent block. They have Amos. I mean, I don't even know who else is a free agent that's even comparable to Landon Collins at this point. I mean, there is Tyrann Mathieu, but I'd be pretty surprised if he doesn't end up back in Houston as well, so maybe you won't even get a shot at him either. But it's not even just this, right? This is not just like a one instance type of thing. I can, if he had made one bad mistake, Dave Gettleman, of letting a guy go like this, then fine, maybe I can forgive him. But he's been GM for a little over a year now. Let's look at some of the moves he's made since being GM. And this is not even everything. This is just off the top of my head what I can think of. He replaced Andrew Adams, who, he was not a great safety by any means, but he was pretty good. He had some promise. He's like 25, 26 years old. There was no reason he should have been cut. Of course they cut him, replaced him with Curtis Riley, who had to be the worst safety in football last year. Name me a worse one, please. That guy was horrible. Cut Romeo Okwara, who had 7.5 sacks, which was more than any Giant last year. Any Giant. They cut this guy. He recently just got a 2-year extension with the Lions, I believe. Good for him. I'm happy for him. Signed Patrick Omameh and Jonathan Stewart for a total of $23.4 million. Right away when they signed Jonathan Stewart, I told you guys, if you watched back then, I said this is an idiotic signing. This makes absolutely no sense. It's not like Saquon Barkley needed a mentor. The guy, Saquon has his head on straight. We know he's a good kid. Why are you bringing in Jonathan Stewart, who is easily washed? His yards per carry has diminished every year, and Dave Gettleman stood on the podium and told you guys, Jonathan Stewart, he hasn't lost a step. He's been in the league for 10 years, hasn't lost a step. Are you looking at the stats? I mean, even if you look at tape, you could tell he's not the same guy he used to be. I mean, come on. Why are we lying about this? If you like Jonathan Stewart as a person, just tell us. Don't lie and say, he hasn't lost a step. He was awful last year. I remember his preseason was like, his stats were 10 carries for -5 yards. As I said this in a video, you could have brought a guy off the street. He would have performed better than Jonathan Stewart last preseason. Also, there's no word on restructuring Eli Manning's contract for $23 million. I don't understand how you can let a talent like Landon Collins go for $12 million, but keep a guy like Eli Manning, who has easily underperformed here for the last 3 seasons now. This doesn't make any sense to me. The guy does not, Dave Gettleman being the guy, this guy does not value the secondary whatsoever. He said it in quotes. I don't understand how you can't address the safety position in today's NFL where it's a passing league. I understand quarterback's important, but it's not like Eli Manning's doing anything great for us. I, as GM, would not be willing to pay Eli Manning $23 million. I do not want to see it. He should be restructured for, at least $10 million next year. The guy has made a ton of money in his career. I don't know why they haven't even approached him about this. There's no word about it. I could be wrong. I don't know. By the time I upload this, maybe, Eli will have a restructured contract in the future. But as of right now, I see no... they're not like making any kind of move to restructure his contract. So here we are, going to pay another crappy year of Eli, $23 million at 38 years old. They have no plan at backup whatsoever for quarterback. Hey, they signed Alex Tanney to a 2-year extension today. Awesome. Found out that Kyle Laletta had some kind of surgery today. I don't even know what it was. I didn't read into it. I do not think Laletta is the future here whatsoever. I'm not even going to look into it. And in regards to Dwayne Haskins, I wouldn't be shocked if the Giants get caught with their hands down their pants and get jumped in the draft on draft night. That's something the Giants would do. That's something this current regime would do. I can absolutely see that happening, and then the Giants would end up taking Daniel Jones or Drew Lock way higher than they should. I don't even want to think about that possibility. As I said, I'm not a Drew Lock hater. I think there's a chance where he could be good. But Daniel Jones, I did not want to see him as a Giant. But I feel like if Haskins wasn't there or someone jumped us, then they probably would take him, and it would be miserable. But I just don't see a clear direction for this team. It seems like they have no idea what's going on right now. And it's very concerning, obviously. And I mean, even Mike Francesa said, and I haven't agreed with Mike Francesa in years. I mean, the guy kind of I guess lost his touch as a broadcaster or whatever. But he was saying that bringing back Eli Manning with a team that isn't ready to win makes absolutely no sense, and I 100% agree with that. What is the point in bringing back Eli Manning? You might as well draft Dwayne Haskins, start him from day one, get him as much experience as possible. Why are you going to start Eli Manning on a crappy team, right? If you let Landon Collins go, one of your best defenders, and replace him with, I don't even know who they're going to replace him with. I'm very curious to see, honestly. The Giants are not going to have a supporting cast. This isn't 2011. Eli can't win by himself anymore. Who are you going to replace Landon Collins with, right? I don't think Eli's going to have the roster around him to win games. The Giants are going to suck again next year, most likely, unless something drastic happens. The Giants are going to start like 1-3. Everyone's going to be calling for Dwayne Haskins to play. Every caller on a radio station, every media outlet in New York is going to be talking about it. Dwayne Haskins needs to start, bench Eli. I don't want to see Eli go out like that. I want it to end right now. You know what I mean? Clean slate, have Dwayne Haskins next year. I understand you want to do the whole Kansas City thing, but this is different. The Chiefs were winning with Alex Smith. The Giants have won 8 games in the last 2 years with Eli Manning at quarterback. I understand it's not all his fault, but 8 games is pathetic. Teams are winning 12, 13 games in a year. We're winning 8 in 2 years. The Giants, outside of the Browns, have been the worst team in football the last 2 years for perspective. And this year, probably next year, the Browns are going to be better than us the last 3 years because the Browns absolutely have a brighter future than we do right now. So it's all very concerning, and as Francesa said, it makes no sense to bring Eli back next year if you don't expect to be competitive. But knowing the Giants and the little love affair they have for Eli Manning and this whole apology tour for the whole Geno Smith mishap, they're probably going to bring him back. Eli Manning's going to have a mediocre year, probably below average year. People are going to look at his stats and say, oh, he wasn't that bad. It's the team around him's fault, blah, blah, blah. How about we look at management for once? Management hasn't done anything for Eli Manning. Even when Eli was still in his prime a few years ago in 2014, 2015, I understand this is Jerry Reese we're talking about now, they did nothing for the guy. Eric Flowers was not capable at left tackle. They didn't address it. Here we are in 2019 now. Eli Manning was 37 years old. They were in one of the best quarterback drafts in the last 5-6 years. They take a freaking running back. I understand Saquon Barkley was probably the best player overall in the draft last year, but in that situation, you do not take a running back when your quarterback is declining and 37 years old. I will stand by that 100%. I don't care if Saquon Barkley ends up being the best running back of all time. The Giants improved by 2 wins with Saquon Barkley. What does that tell you, right? That position is not valuable enough to be picked number 2, no matter how good Saquon is. Having a 37-year-old quarterback and picking a running back will never make sense to me. As I said, if Eli Manning was 30 years old or 29, 28 years old, and you had the second pick, then you could take Saquon Barkley. But your quarterback position has to be the number 1 priority. You can't take a running back when your quarterback is running on fumes and is 37 years old. We saw it this year. 5 wins. It said it all. I understand the Giants lost by, maybe a few points on 4 or 5 occasions, but these things happen. They had a crappy defense. Their offense wasn't as good as it should have been. They have amazing weapons on this team. The offensive line wasn't great, but I don't think it was terrible either. So, enough pointing fingers. We have to address the quarterback position, and it's going to be ugly. If you draft Haskins and Eli starts to suck next year, which probably will happen, it will get ugly in New York. I'm telling you right now. So, in conclusion, if they actually do let Landon Collins walk, and as I said, I'm recording this before it actually happens, before the deadline, I am very concerned about where this franchise is going to be next year. They literally have no plan. I mean, they have a lot of draft picks this year. They don't have their own 3rd-round pick. Hey, maybe they should have traded Landon Collins for a 3rd-round pick. Crazy idea, right? They could have had their own 3rd-round pick just like that. Now we're going to let him walk away for nothing, have no 3rd-round pick. We have to use our 1st-round pick on a quarterback, so here we are, right? We're going to have our 6th overall pick sit the bench the whole year in a perfect world for the Giants. We have a 2nd-round pick. I don't even know what they're going to pick with that. Probably right tackle because they need to fix the offensive line for Eli Manning. I would pick a defender, but or a pass rusher. But I really don't know what they're going to do in free agency or the draft that's going to make this team competitive next year. I just don't see a way it's possible. So I'm just telling you guys, brace yourselves for another disappointing year next year. I mean, I'm very, very curious now to see what happens. I mean, it's we were already in like deep shit to begin with, but now you let your 25-year-old, bright safety leave for nothing. Now you're really putting yourself in a deeper hole. So this will be very interesting to see where it goes. The Giants are on their road to another six or seven win season next year. Going to be very exciting stuff. So, look, I hope Dave Gettleman can pull a rabbit out of his head, like it wasn't head, yeah, like Jason Witten said or something like that. I forget what the quote was exactly.
Race on, hitting the wrist, it doesn't matter. He pulls another rabbit out of his head.
But I hope he could do something like that and somehow make this team competitive next year. I would love to see it. I'm not trying to be a giant hater. I'm just a realistic person, right? And so far, over the last year and a half I've been doing this, I've been right more times than wrong, right? So, I hope they find a way to be competitive, but I'm very nervous about where we're going right here. Hopefully they bring him back. We'll see what happens tomorrow night. And one more thing. So the possibility now of Josh Rosen being traded seems very likely. It seems as if the Cardinals are 100% sold on taking Kyler Murray first overall. I don't blame them, by the way. I think it's worth it. But Josh Rosen obviously would be traded in that event. You can't have two rookie first and second year quarterback on the same team as first round picks. That makes absolutely no sense. So Josh Rosen will most likely be traded. I love the scenario if the Giants can somehow trade I don't know what the trade would be. Probably, I don't know if it'd be like this year's second or whatever it would be, but if it was a second round pick and the Giants get to keep their sixth overall pick and take, Devin White and Josh Rosen, I'd be very, very happy about that. But I just don't see the Giants doing that. I have no faith in it. But I think that route is better than taking Dwayne Haskins and then the best player available second round. You're better off taking a quarterback who could be as good as Haskins, even better, in Josh Rosen, and then take the best player available at 6th overall rather than 37th overall. I think it makes a lot of sense. So hopefully the Giants have that opportunity. I don't know what the trade would be, but it seems like, it's not going to be too much. I don't think any first-round picks will be involved, so I hope the Giants can maybe snatch Rosen for a second-rounder. And what will probably happen is Rosen will go to the Redskins, have a great career, and the Giants will miss out on another great quarterback. So we'll see what happens with that. As always, follow on Twitter. It's at Mike_NYY. I tweet about the Giants a lot, sometimes about the Brooklyn Nets, and maybe about the Yankees, if you're into that. I'll be sure to follow you back as well. So thank you for listening. I don't even know when I'm going to talk to you guys next. I guess when some big news happens, hopefully in free agency. Maybe we'll get Darrell Williams or Adrian Amos. We'll see what happens. I wish Dave Gettleman luck, because right now it ain't looking too good. But thanks for watching, guys, and I'll talk to you next time.